Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. It's called Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelee.
I'm Jimmy.
Welcome. I don't know why I'm nervous. What the heck? You guys are like celebrities to me, I guess. I'm starstruck.
No, you're the celebrity. You're like the main celeb.
But I would be nothing without you.
You're the queen of the pod.
Wow. You're the king.
I could be the king. No other men.
Oh my God. I've been dying to do photo
pod.
shoots where we like dress up as things. It would be so funny if you dress up as a king and then I could either be the queen or like a princess, and then like Rebecca, Aaron, and Trish, like we could all.
We should do it.
Yeah, like dress up as like royalty.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
No, that would be fun. Are you watching The Traitors? I've been talking to everyone about the show.
What is
It's on Peacock. It's called The Traitors. The first season had some like regular people, but for the most part, it's like reality TV people like Housewives, Big Brother, Survivor, all of that. And it's just a group of people. Amongst the faithfuls are like a couple traitors who have the opportunity to kill someone like every night off the show. So like they kill the people. And the faithfuls all have to figure out who the traitors are. So they do like a round table and they vote. Everyone votes for one person that they think is a traitor, and that votes them off the show. But before they leave, they say like, I'm a faithful or I'm a traitor.
Wait, that sounds so good.
Yeah, but it's filmed in like this like castle in Scotland, and like the outfits are everything. I'll have to show you pictures because it's kind of like that. Like that would be funny to do like a Scottish like chic look, over the top, like all the furs and the hats and like the skirts. And Alan, I don't know the host's name, I forget. Is it Alan Cummings or something like that? I don't know. He's hilarious and his fashion is like so over the top. So
amazing.
Yeah, we should do that.
Okay, I want to watch that because I've been looking for a new reality show to watch because I'm like not into too many reality shows, but I watched the Squid Games one and it was so good. Like I loved it. So I feel like that kind of sounds similar too.
Yeah, you should. And it's good. Like I love it because I'm like, I don't really talk about that much on the pod. I'm like a huge reality TV fan. Yeah. I don't think that I talk about it that much on here.
I feel like you should do like a deep dive because
I'm telling you, get Rebecca here and get me here and we could just do a deep dive into reality TV.
You guys can just do it.
No. You're the queen of the pod. You gotta be here. People are like, what's your passion? I'm like, reality TV. It's like so sad because I love it that much. But it's everything because I love Survivor. I love Big Brother, like those types of shows too. But I like kill to watch middle-aged women fight, like on the Housewives. Like I love it. It does everything for me. So this show has like the Housewives drama and fashion, the Big Brother competitiveness and like social game, the Survivor people that like literally had to survive on an island, like and win the game that way. That's why I just love it. I'm telling everyone to watch it. I've gotten like so many people to watch it, and now I have like a little community on Instagram.
Oh, add me to the group chat.
Yeah, like I post everything, and now like we all send each other things. Like people that I don't even like talk to normally, like we're not really friends. We send stuff to each other now because I'm like that into it. Like I'm like so into the show. Yeah.
Wait, it's actually, I heard, a good thing if you're into reality TV because it's a good way. The human brain like feeds off of drama. So instead of being dramatic about your own life and like gossiping about people that just are irrelevant or whatever, looking for the negatives and things, you can just watch reality TV and get the same like drama fix that your brain like craves. Yeah. But it doesn't like ruin your life at all, and it doesn't make you like actually unhappy or like a gossiper or anything. So I feel like that's probably why you like reality TV so much, because you're so normal and just like good in your normal life.
Right, 100%. And like I don't ever get involved in like the drama really. I mean, I feel like all of our friends, like we don't really have drama anyways. Yeah. But like I am not someone that does, but I do have good one-liners. And a lot of my one-liners have come from watching Housewives. Yeah. Amazing. I feel like I've always been really good with like a little verbal argument, you know? Like I grew up wanting to be a lawyer my whole life.
Me too.
That's all I wanted. Yeah, that's all I wanted. Literally. God, pass me the gavel. But then I was like, I don't know, too much reading. I don't like to read.
So much reading.
But that's how I feel like I've always been good at like verbal arguments, you know? Yeah. But the Housewives now have given me more like of the shade. Yeah. Like, Phaedra Parks from Atlanta, she could kill someone with their words. And now she's on The Traitors. So that's why.
Oh, okay. Do you have any like phrases that you quote that nobody gets unless they're into it? I have all the time. So many. Not from reality TV, but like really from like Vines or TikToks. But there's a Vine of, you probably already know what it is. It's the Real Housewives. It seems like they're on like the reunion episode. And the one girl's like, how do you know what's right for me? And the other girl snaps and goes, that's my opinion!
Tamra Judge.
And they're all just like...
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Yeah.
I love that
And I
one.
do. I throw like everything. Like with Rebecca, I'll always say stuff to her. Like when we're out,
Yeah.
I'll always like throw little Housewives like quotes in, and she gets them every time. You know what I mean?
I love it.
But like people like you wouldn't get it. Probably a lot of the other ones. I'm sure you saw some of the Salt Lake City stuff with like the receipts, proof, timelines, screenshots.
Oh, is that from that?
That's from the Real Housewives. Like it's very much breaking into like the culture of America. I feel like right now, like a lot of the most watched shows are on Bravo right now. You know what I mean? But,
especially because of the writer's strike. Like they couldn't do normal TV, so then so many more reality shows like started popping up, which I guess is probably why there's like a bunch of like the Squid Games thing and like what is it called, Traders.
Yeah.
I don't know when it started, but I have noticed a lot more reality shows are popping up, which I am going to. I'm excited.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I started, you know, I don't want to be a hater, but I just put on like Love is Blind in the background of while I was working the other day at night, and my sister's like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you're watching this, you're gonna like, I don't know if you're gonna like these people, and I just can't like care about it as much as I wish I could. Like Squid Games, I was like in. I'm like, oh, I actually like am getting like attached to the people. Like there were certain players there I'm like, I really like them. I don't know, it's hard for me, but I feel like the one you were just describing sounds good.
Yeah, I think that you might, because I'm the same way. Like Love is Blind, I never could get into it.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the dating shows, like I was in Love Island for a little bit, but like it's too much TV. Like you have to watch like so many nights, and like
I've never watched that, but I watched Are You the One, which I used to love. I don't even know if it's still on. I probably would still like it. And then there was one show that was just wild. I think it was called Temptation Island.
Oh yeah.
And it was about couples that go and then they split up, and the single girls, it's like 3 single girls in a house with 10 single guys, and then the boyfriend, like, so the girlfriends go there, the boyfriends go with single women, and then they just like see if they're gonna cheat on each other.
It's terrible.
That is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. I don't know why those shows exist like that.
I can't imagine my partner coming to me and being like, hey, idea, should we go on this show?
Right. No,
like,
I don't either. And that even Love Island has a part of that. It's called like Casa Amor.
Yeah.
And they split them. So like they already are in pairs, and like a lot of them are like starting relationships, and then they split them and bring in new guys or new girls.
Oh my gosh.
And see what happens that way. And it's like literally like, I don't know. But I guess a lot of these people go on these shows just for like the internet personality and fame. Yeah.
Totally.
So like they're not that.
Right. Like tied to the relationship.
I could never do it.
Is Love Island the one where they're not allowed to kiss? Or
no, they could. They could kiss on Love Island. I forget which one they can't. There is one though.
Okay.
It like takes money away, right?
Yes.
Every time they kiss.
Or is that too hot to handle? I don't know. There's
Maybe.
so many.
I know.
There's so many.
I remember Are You the One though? There was a girl from Scranton that was on it, and that's why I watched like the one season of it.
I love
But she wasn't
that
like
show.
a break. I don't think she was like one of the main like breakouts from it.
Okay.
Yeah. Her name's Zoe. I don't know.
I seriously debated going on Are You the One a few years ago, but I was always low-key so scared that nobody was gonna like me. Like I don't know. Wouldn't it be so sad if you went in there and like didn't really click with anyone?
Yeah.
That would be like my worst fear. Like I would be the one that like nobody picked for the date. I'd just be so scared that would happen.
Yeah, no, I would too. I wouldn't like that. I would love to go on Big Brother. I love Big Brother. I feel like I would do so well on that show.
I've never actually watched it.
Really?
But it does seem entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, I get like really hooked on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I love it. And I mean, but Big Brother, like you are under surveillance all day.
Yeah.
Like people, it's their real jobs that they just track all day what the people are doing and like report on it online, and like that's like their main job.
And then do people get voted out, like the people in the house, just because they don't like you, or what's?
Yeah, so like you make alliances in the game. It's like a social game, and then the head of household gets to put up 2 people that could possibly get voted off, and then the rest of the house votes off those 2 people.
I could not imagine going on a show and like I feel like a lot of people have to quit their job and then you just like get out in the first round.
Oh my god, I know. Yeah, that could be an issue. I know, that's the other thing too. I don't know, like unless they filmed it over the summer, I don't know that I could really like, I don't have a job like that you could take off like that.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know.
I kind of want to go on a reality show, but I don't want to go on one where it's like about relationships. I don't think I would do well with like having to like hook up with someone on television.
No, me either. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, so maybe like The Circle or maybe Big Brother. Maybe we should apply together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Should we?
Or maybe The Amazing Race. We should try to do The Amazing Race. We could see so many good places.
That would be so fun, but also so difficult. Like the stuff they have to do, I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah, no, it would be hard.
We could apply.
Yeah, we should.
Should we?
That'd
We
be
could
funny.
make like a video, like dress up as
we have the video equipment here.
Yeah, true. Hi, welcome to our audition tape.
If you want to know how uninteresting we are, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
If you want to hear Jimmy rant about reality TV for 20 minutes, just
I think people would like that on The Amazing Grace. It would spice it up a little bit.
Maybe, yeah. Well, yeah, because you do have to like fight a little bit with who you're playing with. Like
we could play it up. We could fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay, so stay tuned. We'll probably be on TV by 2025.
Mm-hmm. If you're a producer watching,
yes,
think about it.
Yeah, or if you know one, or if you want to write a new reality show just for us.
Plenty of ideas. We're
reach
open.
Out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, should we get into our topic?
Yeah, let's get into it.
We're talking about meeting new people, which I'm excited about, but I also don't know if I actually have good advice.
Well, you meet new people all the time. I think you do.
Okay, I try.
We're newish to meeting. Not now, I guess. But
yeah, we were. Yeah,
like fairly new.
Yeah, compared to our lives.
Yeah. I knew Kelee, like, I met her like 3 times, and she was like, hey, do you want to do this podcast with me?
I know!
I like,
so
didn't even really know you. And
no, yeah.
When you reached out, I was like, oh my God, wow.
I remember when I texted you my full name. Like, I wasn't just like, hey, it's Kelee. I said my full name.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sent you my pitch.
Yeah.
And you were in.
That was it. Yeah. So that's why I feel like you are good at meeting people. I mean,
okay.
Maybe you could add that to the do's of what to do. Ask them to be on a podcast.
True. Yeah. Instant friends.
Yeah.
So our main points are going to be about trying to meet people when you are interested in being in a romantic relationship. And I guess some of these things could still be relevant in making friends, but I do think that there's less pressure on making friends. So I feel like although it is still a struggle, it's not necessarily like, how do I do it and what do I say? It's more like, where do I do it and like what settings? So I think it's really interesting to talk about like how you approach someone in a public setting in the wild if you're interested in finding love. I've been talking to one of my guy friends about it, and he was asking me like the differences about like when you're approaching someone at a bar, like what should you say and what should you not say? I guess we'll just start with locations about where you should and shouldn't, in my opinion, should or should not try to like hit on someone or form like love connections. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So let's start with the where we should.
Yes.
Okay.
I think a bar or a party setting is always a good place to shoot your shot.
That is. And I feel like once you're of age, especially meeting someone in person, that's more than likely the place that you're going to meet someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that even if you don't drink, a bar is still a good place to meet people. Just because there's so many people in one place, and like clearly the intent is to socialize and talk to people. So I feel like that's somewhere that people can't get mad at you or be like surprised that you're coming up to them and like trying to start conversation.
Right. Yeah. You go to a bar because it's a social setting. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's not like a game or something like that where you're going to watch something or whatever. Like when you go to a bar, you're going out social.
Yeah.
So in drinking or not drinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. And I think that if you don't drink, but you still have friends that want to go out to a bar, just like being honest, like you don't have to be like, I'm sober to the people that you're meeting. But if someone's like, oh, what are you drinking? You can be like, oh, well, I don't drink alcohol, so I'm just having this. And don't explain like anything more. Like you don't have to go into detail there. And I don't think that most people would find that like weird.
No, yeah. Especially too, because going off that, like a lot of times someone's way of showing that they're interested is offering to buy a drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is fine, I think. But also it's fine for you to just be like, oh, I'm just going to have like a water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, totally. Or a mocktail.
And if someone makes a comment about that, red flag.
Exactly.
Run.
Yes.
Maybe I should start going out to the bar and not drinking so I could find red flags. Not that many men are buying me drinks anyways, but.
That's a good point. Yes. No, I think that's a great way, like especially if you don't drink, that is a great way to like rule people out. And I know it could be frustrating if you're like, oh, well, people just judge me because I don't drink and they think it's weird. Would you rather spend time and money getting to know someone and then you find out they judge you, or would you rather them judge you right in the moment and then you never think about them again when you walk away?
Yeah, I would rather that.
Yeah.
You know?
My second one I had was a wedding. I do think that that's like the same as a party kind of, but I feel like that's, I don't know, maybe it's hit or miss though, because if you're with your family, like, do you really want to be like flirting with someone when like your whole entire family is there?
Right.
Maybe not. But I do think that's like a good way to form connections with people. Like if you go to a wedding and you're single, ask your friend or whoever's getting married if there's other single people there.
Yeah, especially too when it's like a friend that like your family isn't going to be there. Like if it's a friend from college or a friend, you know what I mean, that you met like a little bit later on that like your family isn't at the wedding.
Yeah.
I think that that's like a great place that you could meet people. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And again, a wedding is another like social event, you know, like everyone's there to have a good time and like talk and party and do whatever. So I feel like that would be a good place. And everyone looks good at a wedding.
Yes. And everyone's in a good mood.
Yeah.
And everyone's in like a positive mindset about love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually.
Love is in the air
yes,
at the wedding.
Yes, it literally is.
Yeah, usually.
True.
Yeah.
Usually.
You know, there's some weddings where you're like, oh, I don't know about this one, but no, I'm just kidding.
Well.
Right. Okay, so the next one, classes, whether it's college or activities in adulthood. Yes, I think this is top tier.
I feel like I wish I put myself out there in classes more when I was in college, like just my major classes. Like I was always so nervous to talk to people in those classes. I don't know why, because now I'm like so talkative. I talk to people like all the time, like regardless of where I am.
Right.
But I wish I put more effort into like making friends. And I feel like making friends, even if you don't see people in your class that you're like automatically interested in, making friend connections could be a way to like meet friends of friends and like just meet more people and talking to people. Actually, this is like irrelevant from the specific like meeting in classes, but I remember one of my sister's friends was talking about like the law of attraction and like manifestation, and she was like, even if you don't believe it in like a spiritual way, believe it in a literal way, because if you walk around and you're like, I don't want a boyfriend, I am a single queen, like I love being single, like I do everything I want alone. When your friend meets a guy who's like an eligible bachelor, they're probably not going to think of you if you walk around saying these things about how you love being single. But if you're honest about what you want and you walk around being like, I'm fine being single, but I would love to meet someone, or I'm ready to meet someone, I want to meet someone, then your friend is more likely going to think of you when they meet this wonderful eligible bachelor.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do the same thing in classes and friend groups on a friendship level.
Yeah. No, I know. And I think like the main thing too with the classes is that you're finding someone that you have either a shared common interest with.
Yes.
Like whether like for school, for example, like when I was in college, I had a core group of friends that were in my speech classes and we're still friends. Like we talk all the time, and without them, I genuinely don't think that I would have graduated college.
Aww.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because we were just like in the sticks together, like, and we kept each other accountable and would share like study guides and like do everything that we could to help each other. And like, it was a really good support.
Yeah.
But so like we had that in common. And then like it would obviously go outside of class sometimes, like we would go out together and stuff like that. But then other classes, like into adulthood, say you want to do like a yoga class or pottery, for example. Kelee just started like taking pottery classes.
That's so cool.
And she's loving it. Yeah. And I had a friend that lived in Colorado and did yoga classes. It was actually like infused like weed yoga. The studio was built for that, where like everyone would like get a little bit high and then do yoga together.
My gosh, wow.
And like she went every week, and like that was one of her like favorite things ever. And she still is friends with all the people. Like she relocated or whatever. But that's, I just feel like when you are in a class, you already have the common thing where you could be like, oh, like when did you start doing yoga? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it's pottery, like, oh, is this your first time? Like, what are you looking to make? So I feel like that's a good way to kind of kick off the conversation right from the beginning.
Totally. Kind of on the same line as that, I was thinking like events in your city, which I feel like if you're in kind of like a negative mindset, or you're not thinking like totally creatively, it can be really easy to be like, oh, well, there's nothing that goes on in my town. I used to think that way when I was in like high school and even early college. I'd be like, oh, where we live is so boring. There's actually so much that goes on in like cities and even like suburban neighborhoods. Maybe if you live like really out in the middle of nowhere, this might not be like a helpful tip for you. But if you live in or near a city, there are so many events. Like you can look at the events calendar on your township or your city's website, and so much actually does happen. You could also follow accounts that post about events in your area. There's many in Philly that I feel like do that, that post about these events that I would have never found if this Instagram account didn't post about it. But it makes it so easy. And also looking on Eventbrite. There's so many random things on Eventbrite, even just like trivia at a bar, or like, I don't know, my mom started doing like these line dancing classes at a bar.
That's fun.
Yeah. And I think it's a person that like, they also do trivia sometimes. So like sometimes it's trivia, sometimes the host does line dancing, sometimes they do like music bingo. But my mom started going to these things and she really likes it. So it's like a good way to meet people.
I was going to say too, going off of that, I joined the Heyday League.
Oh yeah.
For like recreational sports.
Yes.
And like that's another good way that just like came to my mind when you brought that up, because the first 2 seasons that I played, I just joined random teams. Like I didn't know anyone, but I was like, oh, I know that I enjoy playing volleyball. They play at the park. I would walk by and be like, oh my God, I wish that I joined that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, I'm going to join. And like I met people, and some of the people that I played with are still on the team. You know what I mean? Like we still play together and stuff like that. And like we'll go out for drinks after or before sometimes, or like the one guy and his wife had us over for like pizza and everything like that, like at like the end of the one season for like a final whatever like party together and stuff like that. But yeah, so I feel like that's another good one.
Yeah.
And a way to like connect with people. I know like especially in Philly too, there's like the Stonewall League. A lot of gay men join those and like meet people that way. You know what I mean? I like haven't, because I just do the Heyday one, but I know a lot of people meet people that way too.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I feel like it can be really scary if you don't have anyone to join with. But I feel like I found for myself, I used to be so scared to do things alone. But once you do like the first one, all the other things get easier. Like when it comes to going to things by yourself. Right now, I'm really scared to do tennis lessons by myself. I want to do like group tennis lessons because it's more affordable, but I'm so nervous to like just go to the tennis center and just do it. So I'm trying to push myself to actually go.
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been things in the past where I was terrified to do them alone, and then I just did it and I was so happy that I did. So I feel like once you start experimenting and like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, it just gets easier and easier to like sign up for that sports league alone, or like do that activity, that class by yourself.
Yeah, and it's a good way for just like personal growth, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like putting yourself out there, because you are kind of putting yourself in like a vulnerable position, walking into a space that you're like not comfortable in because you're not that good at it, or you know what I mean? I'm putting it out here on the pod, so then I have to do it. I really want to join a yoga studio near my house.
Oh.
I've been looking into it like a lot because I'm not great at yoga. I don't claim to be a yogi or whatever, you know, like at all. But they have classes at like 6 a.m. and it's right around the corner from my house that I could like go to the 6 a.m. class for an hour, come home, shower, and go to work a couple times a week. And I feel like that would be like such a good way to start my day. Like good for your mental health, good for your body. But again, it's me having to do something on my own. And Kelee joining that pottery class kind of inspired me to want to do something on my own too.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like it's good for personal growth.
It really is. And also, I just feel like you have to realize that you can't just wait for other people to like happen to have the same interest as you, or I guess people that you know. Like I can't just like sit around and just hope that one of my friends will want to take a tennis lesson with me and also their schedule aligns with mine, and also we have the same budget to go to the same class. Like so much stuff has to align before you and a friend could do something together. And when you are like expanding your palette of like things you like doing and activities, it's just going to be less and less likely that someone in your inner circle is going to be available to go to all these things. So are you just going to never try it because your friend can't go with you?
Right.
That's a really bad mindset, in my opinion, or it can be really bad.
Yeah, and it gets harder. Like as we get older, people have more responsibilities, and like for example, your work schedule is so much different than my work schedule. You know what I mean? You often work weekends. I never work weekends. Like that's just not on the table for me. I'm a public school employee, you know what I mean? So can't rely on other people to do that. And also again, I just think that it goes back to like you should do some things for yourself on your own. And I think that it's great to have common interests with your friends, roommate, whoever it is, boyfriend, girlfriend, but also it's really good to have things on your own that then you could like share with them and talk about with them, that like they're not there to witness themselves. So you know what I mean? Like it keeps things fresh when you're not doing every single thing together all the time. Yeah,
that's a good point. It also, exactly what you're saying with like the schedules, even just like people's people's ability to do things. Because, for example, it was like a dream of mine since high school to swim with sharks without a cage. And I went to Hawaii with a guy I was dating at the time. He couldn't do this activity because he gets seasick. And then it literally didn't hit me until like the day before we left that I could just do this activity alone. So I signed up for the thing, and sadly it got canceled that day because it was like a storm. So then when I went back to Hawaii the time after that, I was like, I am literally going to do this thing. Like, this is one of the main driving factors of booking this trip.
Yeah.
Because it was like one of the only regrets. And like, not that it was a regret that I didn't do it, but it was more like a really stark lesson that I learned, that I was like, oh my God, wait, I didn't do this because someone couldn't go with me. Like, this is like one of the top things on my list of things that I want to do in my whole life. And just because this one person can't go, I'm just going to not do it. So I was determined to do it the next time. And I did it alone. And it was so fun. Like, as soon as I got there was 2 other girls like around my age, and I was talking to them, got on the boat. Everyone is so nice. Like, even the families that are there. And it was amazing. Like, and most of the time you're not talking to people anyway.
Right.
I use that example when I'm like talking about going snowboarding, and people, I feel like sometimes are surprised that I go alone, but it's like you're not really talking to people anyway. Like, you're just kind of headphones in, like doing your own thing anyway.
Right.
So it's fine to do things alone.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like a really big example of like putting yourself out there and doing it, like the shark thing, because I'm sure you were at least a little bit nervous
I was
do
nervous,
it. Like,
yeah.
That's not like an activity that it's like you're going to yoga, where like literally like it's the most zen place on earth. Like,
well, it was. It was extremely zen.
Was it? Okay,
in a different way, though.
Yeah. But I mean, still, like, you could get bit by a damn shark. God.
Yeah.
Like, I would be the person at home, and I'd be like, Kelee, go and do your thing today, honey.
I remember you commented on my video, and you were like, not for me, but have fun.
Yeah, literally. I will be on the beach. I will dip my toes in the water when I get a little hot from the sun, and then I'm back in my chair, and I'm totally okay with that. But I think that that's great. Yeah. No, that's a good example.
And another thing is, like, you're actually not alone. Like, even though you're driving there alone and like maybe walking into the studio alone, everyone there is on the same vibe as you. So it feels like you're alone, but you're really not, you know?
No, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why I keep going back to the yoga thing, but like a lot of the studios that have classes, any types of classes, try to build it like a community, you know what I mean? Because they do build communities like in these places, and that's what makes them successful.
That was such a good tangent.
Yeah, let's join a class.
Yeah, tennis.
I'm doing it. Tennis, yeah. I think you should do. Have you ever played tennis before?
Yeah, my friends and I played for like a year, maybe a little bit more than that, just like whenever we could, and it was so fun. But I think I'm to the point where I can't get any better without someone who's a professional like teaching me literally how to swing the racket. So that's why I think I need to take a lesson, like, because it's not something you just know on your own. You know, you have to learn the technique in order to progress. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's great. That's really fun. Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
I need to actually do it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say pickleball, because I feel like pickleball is like the big thing right now.
I've played that too. It's very fun. I've only played a handful of times though. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I also said sporting events, like games, watch parties, parades, and tailgates. I feel like this is such a good way to connect with people because you have so much in common. You're probably having fun. It's a friend group event, typically. Like, typically, you're not going to tailgates alone. That is one thing I would never do.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would
Tailgate
either.
alone. No, I wouldn't be doing that. But I love talking to people at sporting events like that. Like, it's such a good way to bond with other people. And you also spend so much time at that one place. And I feel like that was kind of a theme that I noticed of all the things that I was thinking of, is anywhere that I think would be a good place to meet someone and like shoot your shot is a place where people go and spend time leisurely. And they're not just like on the way somewhere. Right. So a sporting event or like going to a dog park or a class, all the things we just said, people are going to spend time there. It's not like an errand that they're running. Right. And then I wrote on my list of do not shoot your shot in these places. It's all things where people are like on a schedule. They do that when they can. It's like an in and out type thing. I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to like buy groceries, you know?
Right. Yeah, I could see that too. I think too with the tailgates and stuff like that, there's like excitement in the air. There's a shared cause. You know what I mean? Like, you're all rooting for the birds. You get to wear cute outfits. I love like dressing up for tailgates. I love picking out a tailgate outfit. Oh, God,
So
Eagles,
fun.
do it for us this year, please. Because I feel like I didn't tailgate that much this past season.
Yeah.
But the schedule was weird.
The schedule's weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me on Sundays, too, because, like, the tailgates, I mean, I know I could go and not drink. I should do that more. But, like, I've worked the next day, so I can't really drink. You know what I mean?
And then the 8 o'clock games, like...
Impossible.
Yeah.
Because I need to go to bed.
Yeah,
you know?
even when I don't go out, it's like 11:30. I'm like, I am so fucking tired.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm, like, watching in bed, like, why am I putting myself through this? And then usually it ends in disappointment this season.
Well, not for the first 10 weeks.
I know. It was literally like the rise and fall. But like again, like these are conversations that you could have at a tailgate.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And be like, is Jalen Hurts going to show up today?
Probably
did Nick
not.
Sirianni,
Sorry.
yeah, like did Nick Sirianni decide to, make a decision? Like all of these different things.
Yeah.
You could talk about with these people.
Yes,
so,
I agree.
Yeah, I like that. I know a lot of people end up meeting people through like volunteering and like activism, type groups and things like that you end up meeting people because again, it's like a shared cause that you're going for. So like going to a march or whatever, or a protest or a rally, or like volunteering your time to make calls or something like that, like through an organization like that, or even for like a political candidate, making calls or knocking on doors and meeting people that way. Is another way I feel
I've
like
never
you could
thought
probably
about
meet.
that.
Yeah.
I definitely need to volunteer more. I feel like low-key guilty about that. Also, I have a tip. If you feel that you are too busy to volunteer or you don't know like where to start, I think a really good thing that you can do is donate blood, because it's very quick. Most people can do it. It's not something you do like super, super often, but it helps immensely for other people. So I think donating blood, if you're able to, is a great first step to volunteering or donating, and it doesn't cost money other than like driving there, or getting there.
I used to love donating blood. Now, like the guidelines for gay men to donate blood are like insane.
Really?
It's
I thought it was the opposite. I thought they like became...
They do not want... Yeah, no, they don't want our blood.
Oh,
well, some of it is changing, I think, now. Like they're trying to change it.
Okay.
Because like it's literally like based off stigma, and like that's it.
What
like anyone could have sex unprotected.
Right,
like,
that's what I was
anyone could do it.
thinking.
Yeah, but it's still, I think, for the most part, like they put a waiver on it during COVID and stuff like that because like there was such a shortage.
Oh, okay.
But I think that it's back in because I would love to do that. Another thing too, this one kind of like hits home a little bit because there's someone that I went to high school with who just had a baby, and the baby was born with no immune system.
What?
Yeah, and it's like really like a rare thing. But they are quarantined with their baby, like the mom and dad and the baby. They can't go out of the house at all because like a common cold killed the baby basically.
Wow.
And the only thing that could basically save the baby is if he gets a bone marrow transfusion through Be the Match registry, and you literally just like swab your mouth. And the recovery for giving bone marrow like isn't amazing. I think it's like 2 weeks of like, you're pretty sore and like beat up and stuff like that, but it's like overall like you could save someone's life doing it. You know what I mean? Like there probably is like a good enough sacrifice, and they pay for everything. Like you don't have to worry about like the medical bill part of it or anything like that, but they just send you a kit and you like swab your mouth with it and send it back, and then you're in a national registry.
Wow.
So that if there is someone that needs it and you're a match for them, you can help them.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Just a swab of the mouth. Like they
that's
know all
it.
of that. Wow.
And I registered while I was at Westchester. They did like an event on campus that I registered in, but then like I tried to register again, but I was already in the database still. So like they called me, which was really nice. Like they reached out to me and they're like, oh, we just want to make sure like before we send this, can we confirm like all of this? And they're like, oh yeah, like you're in there, you're active and things like that. Like we'll contact you if we have someone that needs it. But that's another good thing that you could do.
Yeah.
Wow,
I've never thought about that.
The kid that I went to high school with whose baby it is like the nicest guy ever. So like I'm like really hoping that they find a match like soon for the baby if they haven't already.
Wow.
Volunteering would be cool though. I would like to volunteer more.
My friend volunteers at CHOP. The company she works for donates goods to families at CHOP. So she takes them over one night a week and like walks around and gives them out to all the families and children.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, so cool. And
that's
she does
probably
that through
rewarding.
her company. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Getting to like actually meet like the people that you're able to help somehow is like really nice.
Yeah, totally.
I would love to be like a little baby holder.
You
know how
should.
I like think they have like a lot of older people that do that, like the baby holders at the hospital. One of my professors at Westchester who I have on Facebook, him and his wife are that now, and like he loves it, and he was like the most amazing guy ever, like best professor I ever had. But I'm like, wow, that would be such a cool way to like volunteer and just like hold babies all day.
Wow. Oh, I really would. That's so cute. You should. I support it.
Yeah, that's the passion, reality TV and babies.
Should we go into the nose?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, how do you feel about shooting your shot at the gym?
I'm not at my best at the gym. I don't want to meet anyone there. When I'm there, like, I'm there because I'm trying to look better. If I felt good about myself, I probably just would never step into a gym in the first place. So I don't want to meet anyone there because that's not me at my best, you know, when I'm dying on the treadmill.
Yeah. I am anti meeting people at the gym. I know some people are into it because it's more of like a hobby and it's like a social thing for them. So maybe if like you're one of the people that does like, I don't know, what do they like push those tires or like metal things and they all kind of like talk for a few minutes in between.
Right.
I haven't gone to the gym in so long, but when I was on my gym game, I'm like in cardio, headphones in, not even like turning my head at people, and I don't want to talk.
No, I'm the same way. But yeah, but I guess it would be different if it were like CrossFit or F45 or whatever it's called, or
like something,
those types of classes, because that's more of a community type thing, I feel. So that's different. Yeah.
The other ones that I wrote down were like in a store, like running errands, a grocery store. I do not want to talk to you when I'm in a grocery store. And then same thing with like walking down the street. I feel like I remember this one time in college, somebody like stopped me while I was walking and I was like, I have to go to class. Like, I don't know what they were stopping me for, but I'm like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm sorry. Like, I have 2 minutes to get there.
Right.
And that is more important to me than like the conversation with this random guy.
Right.
Same with like the library when I was in college, because I'm like there to do a task. Like, I'm not there to like just enjoy my time.
Right.
And I think all the things that I had on my no list were things that you're like in the middle of something and it's like I'm on a schedule and I just have to do this thing. It's not like an enjoyable time.
Right.
And I don't feel like talking to people.
No, yeah, I agree. I also think like it's weird being like approached in some like situations.
Yeah.
Like being approached at the gym, I would probably think like, oh, they're probably going to try to like correct me on something that I'm doing wrong. Or like being approached on the street, like I'm like, oh, okay, like no, I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? Like don't come up to me on the street. Like that would maybe freak me out a little bit. Yeah. My big one too, I think, would be work. Like I know people meet people at work that they're like really good friends with. I have friends that like have coworkers that are like in their wedding, and like I know that this is like a common thing. I am so like I like to keep work and my social life so separate.
Yeah, that's
that
so
like
fair.
I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like I don't even really love adding coworkers on like social media and stuff like that. Like I don't even like to really do that because I feel like I want to keep that separate. You know what I mean? And that's like kind of going back to like the schedule thing. Like I'm here to do a job, not to make friends. Like I'm here to do good for the kids that I work with and help the teachers in whatever way I can to like consult with them or whatever, you know what I mean, and support the kids.
Yeah.
But like then when I like walk out of that building, like I want to keep my life very different. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to keep things separate and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so fair.
And obviously it does like spill over. I keep running into students lately.
Aww.
Which I've been loving. Like it's been great. I was in Chinatown for the Lunar New Year last weekend because Kelee's boyfriend is involved in like the parade and everything like that. And I saw one of my students and like his family, and they're like, oh, we're like our daughter is going to be there next year too and stuff like that. Like you'll have to look for her. So I got to meet his little sister that he always talks about. So like I do get that work does spill over in some ways, you know what I mean? But for the most part, like I'm not interested in like meeting like a best friend or like a romantic partner at work.
I also think that sometimes there's like pressure that you feel when someone is like hitting on you, or if it's like clear that this person has romantic interest in you, it can make the person feel anxious. Like, I don't know, there have been times where I was at the library in college and someone would like talk to me and like I would literally get anxious over it because I'm like, what are they going to say? Like, what is their intentions? Like, I don't know what's happening. And I just feel like work should be like a safe place. Like, I don't want to have to worry about that. And I don't have like a specific workplace for my job, but like in a school, I'm like, I would love if I worked at a school to like go in there and be like, all day, I don't have to deal with this. Like the only thing I focus on is my job. And if something is making me anxious, it better be about my job and not like someone trying to like talk to me on a personal level and like involve my outside life. Like I want to focus on this thing.
Yeah. No, that's how I am too. And that's how I feel like, especially in the schools, it could get like so toxic and like cliquey and like everything like that. Like I think any workplace it definitely can, but definitely like in the schools it could be. And I try to like not even get involved in like any of that. Like again, like I say it all the time. I'm like, I'm here to do my job and that's it. And then you're also like kind of risking things for yourself at work if you make a a relationship connection with someone at work and things like that.
Totally.
I feel like, I mean, that's like your job, you know what I mean? That's your employment. So that could get risky as well. I know that there are like a lot of success stories, you know what I mean? I have a good friend who is dating another teacher at his school now, and they're like doing great. I just don't see that for me.
Yes, I agree. My last thought about being approached in any of these situations is, I think kind of a sad truth is that regardless of the situation, it can be based on attraction. And like, if you're approaching someone, if they are attracted to you, they're probably going to be into it. And if they are not attracted to you, they're probably going to think you're weird and creepy, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. So I think that a way that you could combat it is focusing on getting to know someone for their personality, and then you can shoot your shot after. So, for example, I've been in situations where my friend group kind of bonds with another friend group. And then in certain situations, like maybe a guy from that friend group is like drawn to someone in my friend group or something like that. And then they shoot their shot after. But I think that with attraction, maybe at like first glance, you might not find someone attractive. And I think that this is really true with women who are interested in men. I saw the statistic that like a crazy amount of women were not attracted to their partner the first time they saw them. But I think attraction grows with getting to know someone's personality and like falling in love with their personality. There have been many people in my life where I don't think they're attractive. And then when I meet them and get to know their personality, I'm like, I now see you as like very attractive. Like, it's like weird, like their face like changes. Your attraction to them actually physically changes when you get to know their personality. So I feel like that is why bonding with people on a friendship level, not approaching someone and being like, you're so gorgeous, can I get to know you? I'd be like, what? Like, no, I'm scared of you. I'm scared to talk to strangers.
Right.
But there is just less pressure put on a friend situation. So I feel like that's probably like the best way to go.
Yeah.
And connecting with them on something that isn't, I think you're gorgeous, can I date you? Can I buy you drink?
Right.
You know?
No, yeah, I know. And I think that goes back to like the apps. Like the apps are so, like, I'm guilty of it. Like I won't even read the profile if I look through the pictures first and I'm like, I'm not attracted to this person. But again, like you can meet someone out and like love their personality and then find attraction in that.
Yeah.
Like it's so much more than just surface level attraction.
Yes.
But you don't know that until you get to know the person.
I
you
know.
What I mean?
It's so hard because there are definitely people that I've met and really liked in person that I'm like, dude, if I was on a dating app, I would not have swiped yes to them. But look at me now, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, I know. That's how I feel too. Even me, like I hate filling like the prompts out and stuff like that, like on Hinge and whatever. But like that is a way to show at least a little bit about your personality. You know what I mean? But I hate even doing that for myself.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, when I'm reading it, like, I don't know, you don't know who this person is. Like, it's just important that you meet them and then get to know them that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because people are so different off of a phone. I'm also like a horrible texter.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it takes me like hours sometimes to respond to text because I just like don't like look at my phone often. Yeah. And that's why it's hard unless you meet in person to be able to do all that.
Totally. Okay, so going off of that, like I said, my number one tip is connecting on someone that's not romance. I would literally be so anxious if someone came up to me and said, I think you're beautiful. Can I buy you a drink? I would be like, what do I say to you now? Like now there's so much pressure on this.
Right. But what if they're like gorgeous?
I honestly think it would, I still would be scared. I'd be like,
yeah,
what do
no,
I say to
would
this
be
perfect looking person? You know?
Yeah.
I feel like I would not do well
Maybe
with
even
that.
more scared if they're like, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, they want to buy me a drink? Okay.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
I'd be so scared. I'd be like, what do I say now? I don't know. Now I feel like I owe you something. Like I'd be so scared.
And I'll always say yes to a free drink, you know? Like I'll be, oh sure, you can buy me one.
Oh.
But then like I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's like a really hard line. That like seems like what you should do, but I don't think you should actually do that if you want to meet someone in a bar or a public setting.
Yeah, it's probably why I'm where I am right now. Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for the drink.
Just run away. Thank you.
Yeah, as long as it's poured in front of me. I will never
True.
accept a drink that someone hands me, ever.
Yes.
We all know that, though,
That's
right?
a good tip. Hopefully. Yeah. Friendly reminder if you forgot.
Yeah.
Do not accept anything from strangers.
No.
Okay, this was my note about the can I buy you a drink thing. I'd much rather talk about something first and know that we can carry a conversation. There's less pressure on friendships and casual conversations. Although I have drunkenly asked men, are you single? And if they said yes, I'd be like, great, what's your name?
Yeah.
So I feel like that could work in like a very specific situation for a very specific type of person, because that also wouldn't work for everyone. Like, I'm sure some people would be like scared of that, you know? It's like too forward.
That's good though.
Yeah. And also, if a guy said that to me, I would have to be in the right mood, because I also might be like, I don't know. I think it works in specific situations. And if you're like really confident and you're just like, I don't give a shit what they say, sure, ask them if they're single. And then be like, if they say yes, be like, great, my name is whatever. What's your name? Where did you come from? What are you doing here? And just like be very forward with them.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it. That kind of related to that, but not really. I have a question. So I don't even know this person. She's staying with my friends for the weekend, but she went to see a DJ set at this club with her boyfriend. And the DJ really liked her and got her Instagram. And they were messaging. And like he was clearly like looking like, you know what I mean, to, I don't know, hook up or get to know her. And she said like, oh, I like have to let you know, like I have a boyfriend or whatever. And the boyfriend was actually the fan of the DJ. So he was mad at her then.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like, we could have hung out with him. Like after the show. And like you just ruined that by telling him that like you have a boyfriend. What do you think about that?
I think they probably have a really good relationship, honestly, if they can be like open about that and he can be like, yeah, still talk to him. Like, I know his intentions, but I trust you.
Right.
And I trust that you're going to play it well. So I kind of love that.
Yeah. No, I thought it was funny. I don't know. It's not really related to anything. No. It just like came to my mind while we were talking because
I have like something similar, not exactly the same, but I went through this very short time where I experienced dating apps because I had this irrational fear of dating apps. Anyway, so I made them for like 2 weeks and I tried to make a Raya because you actually don't have to be famous or a celebrity like literally at all to get onto Raya. So many people are on it that are just like got a referral code or like know someone that, I don't know, works there. Who knows? I've heard so many stories of random people getting on. So I'm like, oh, I want to get on just to see like who else is on there. So I applied to it. Obviously I didn't get on it, but they basically said like, if you ever are accepted, we'll send you an email. So I'm like, okay. I deleted all the other dating apps off my phone, but I kept that one because I'm like, who knows? And then I met my now boyfriend and I still had it on my phone. I just forgot about it. So we started dating and still had it on my phone. It was in this like folder of random shit that I never opened. Never really thought about it again. Then I broke my phone and lost all my apps because it wasn't backed up to iCloud. So I didn't re-download it, but I was talking to him recently. I don't know how it came up, but I think because we were talking about like because he was on dating apps before we met and when we like deleted them and why. And I said, no, I actually did keep Raya because I thought if I got accepted, we could go through it together and see who's on there. And he was like, oh, okay, that would be fun.
Yeah, no, see, but that's someone that's like comfortable in a relationship. Yeah, like where you're so comfortable that you're like able to talk about that and like probably do that. You know what I mean?
Like I want to scroll through it together and like guess the tea about these like celebrities in our area. You know?
Wait, going off that too, so now you're obviously been dating for a while. Did you guys have a conversation about like deleting apps?
No.
You never had the conversation about it. So I started seeing someone. I've been like seeing someone since like before Christmas. Like I don't know when. Like I feel like we're both on the same page with things and it's moving in the direction of like where things are, you know what I mean? And I have those apps on my phone, but I haven't been on them. Like I keep getting notifications on like Hinge or whatever. Yeah. Like they liked you or whatever. I just haven't opened it. But I don't know, is this a conversation that we should be having? What do you think? How did it happen for you guys?
So nothing happened. Like I didn't have them other than Raya, which I didn't use. I didn't have anything on my phone when I met him. And we met through friends of friends, by the way. Just to clarify. So when we had this like casual conversation about it recently, which I don't know what sparked it. It might have been, I forget why it came up, but I asked him and he said when we started hanging out and talking, he didn't use them, but they were on his phone. And then he deleted them when we made it official, which I was like, oh, wait, you didn't delete them before? And he was like, I don't know. Like, what if you changed your mind and you just didn't want to date? And you were like, yeah, this isn't it. And like you ended it. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's fair. He's like, I didn't use them. Like I wasn't talking to people on them and I wasn't talking to anyone else, but he still had them on his phone, which I think is fair because if I didn't want him to have them, I could have been honest and been like, oh, I don't want you to have dating apps on your phone anymore. And he would have been like, okay, then be my girlfriend. Like we would have just been honest. So I feel like that's fair. Although looking back, I'm like, ugh, like I'm jealous that you even had them on your phone, that like people were even seeing you and your profile popping up like while I was with you, like you were mine, but like really you weren't mine because we were just getting to know each other, like casually dating at first.
How long were you guys like dating before before you made it official?
Not long, maybe like 2 months. Maybe it was a little more than 2 months. Maybe it was like 2.5 or 3. I think that that is the perfect amount of time to like casually date someone. When I say casual, I mean like get to know someone and then decide like, do I want to date this person or not? Like, do I want to have a label and be in a relationship or not? Because I actually do think that like 2 or 3 months is a good time to get to the point where you're like, yeah, I now know if I want to date this person or if I don't see myself dating them. At least that has been the case in my experience because of how often I have like hung out with certain people. Like, obviously, if you only hang out with someone every 2 weeks, it's probably going to take way longer to get to know them. But in like my recent experience, I have been hanging out with people like 1 or 2 times a week in those like 2 to 3 months, maybe even more than that. So that gives me enough time to like figure it out.
The last guy that I dated, we made it official very quick. So then like this time around, I've been like very intentional of like the pace is like slower. But this guy that I'm dating right now, though, too, I just feel I like never open up about like stuff like this. I feel like whatever. Like there's understood like trust, and like his presence is very like calming to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this could like be, you know, that's why I like the way that it's going.
Yeah.
But really good communicator, is very much like intent, and he could pick up on my emotions like very quickly. And he has like a really good vocab for describing the way things feel and are or something like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I feel like I'm in touch with that stuff as well, but sometimes I don't know how to talk about it or like put it into words. And he's like really good at describing things that way.
Yeah.
So it's been good. But I was just curious about the timing because I don't know. I feel like we're like getting there now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's been a little over 2 months.
Yeah.
So we're going there.
That's exciting.
I didn't talk to him about the pod.
Oh,
and I told him today because I asked what he was doing this afternoon or whatever. And I said I was going to do the podcast. And he's like, oh, yeah, like we haven't talked about that. Like I really want to hear about this, whatever. So
okay,
I'll
welcome.
probably can listen to this episode where I'm talking about him.
Aw, that's exciting.
Which won't be the first time. Remember last year, I like literally someone, it was like my first date with them. And they're like, oh, yeah, like I listened to that episode. And I'm like, oh, God, this man like is listening to me before he even meets me. But
I know it's funny like talking about your actual relationships. Like I feel like I'm so slow to talk about that, and I still like I'm feeling out like how much do I actually want to talk about it, because it's so like I don't know, like when I talk about like past relationships or like past friendships or even like certain friend or family relationships, like they almost feel like I'm so like far away from them. But like a romantic relationship that you're in is like so I don't know, like it's just different. It means so much to me that I just am more like cautious when I share about it, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's something that's like personally yours.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. So I like never have been one to like post on Instagram about someone I'm dating, and I don't know like if that's gonna change. And I don't know, like I feel like I can't put my finger like on the reason why, but I'm like feeling it out about like how much I want to share about it like on the actual pod as we go.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's certain things that you keep close.
Yeah, totally. Okay, should we continue on? Oh, my follow-up to what I mentioned earlier when I said I have gone up to people and been like, are you single? And if they say yes, I'm like, great, let's talk. If they say no, I might just be like, okay, slay.
Yeah.
Like, have a good night and just walk away. Like, that's also fine.
I think that's totally fine. Yeah. I think it's like being clear too. You know what I mean? And being respectful.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking about the fact that when people ask, like, are you single? I've heard that sometimes people respond and say, no, sorry, I'm in a relationship. Do not say sorry. Don't say sorry, I have a girlfriend, or sorry, I have a boyfriend. Why are you sorry to this random person? Like, no. Don't. If my
I feel like I would say sorry. I'm like a serial apologizer.
No, see, I could see if you would say something like, oh, sorry if you got the wrong idea. I thought we were talking as like friends, or like I thought we were talking casually, so I'm sorry if it came off wrong. That would be fine. But to be like, sorry, I have a girlfriend, I'd be like, and you're apologizing.
Right.
Like, no, I don't think I would even notice it. But I saw that discourse probably like on TikTok or Instagram or something. Like I've just seen girls like talk about that. And I'm like, oh, that is like such a funny point, because I feel like it is so common that people would apologize for that, but like you don't need to apologize.
No.
when someone asks you if you're single or not.
Yeah, you don't need to apologize for a lot of things, and I find myself doing that.
I know.
So it's something that I've been trying to work on myself too.
What do you think is a good way for someone to break the ice? So let's say there's a guy in one of these settings, whether it's like a bar or an Eagles tailgate or even a party or I guess a class. What should someone say if they've connected with someone on a personal level, or maybe they see someone that's attractive and they want to connect with them on a personal level?
So for me, a lot of times I will like tell people what they want to hear.
Okay.
But most of the time it's genuine. Like I'll compliment something about that they have. Like, oh, I really love like that sweater. Where did you get it from? And stuff like that. And then kind of like build my conversations with that person off of that.
Yeah.
Other times, like I literally will just be like, so like, what's your story? Like, what do you do? Or, you know what I mean? What do you like to do for fun? Or like just asking very direct questions like that.
Yes.
Opens up, and then you're able to like build off of that. If I asked like, oh, I really like your sweater. Where did you get it from? And they said like, I got it from Zara. Then I'm like, oh, did you go to the one at the Cherry Hill Mall? Like I love going over there on Sundays to do my errands, like Costco, everything's over there, blah, blah, blah. And then we build a conversation based off of that.
Yes. Oh,
so I feel like it's easy to like do a compliment and then see where it could go from there. You know what I mean? And then if it doesn't go anywhere, then that's like a pretty easy sign that you're like, oh, this person can't have a conversation. So I don't know that I'd want to, you know what I mean?
So true.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the what's your story? Like, what are you up to? That's such a good, like, non-intimidating thing to say to someone. Yes. Okay. I love that. I kind of thought the same thing. Like, even just asking, who are you here with? Like, what's going on tonight? And just keep like digging. One of the best conversationalists I've ever met, something that I noticed about her was that she asked so many questions, and it's questions that like I would never have thought to ask before meeting her, but now I'm like, you're so good at talking to people. I want to like study you and like memorize the questions that she asks. But one of the things that she did was like just dig deeper. So if it's like, oh well, where are you from? Philly. Like, where do you live? I live here. And like, is your family here? What's your roommates like? What do they do? And like, what do you do for work? And so do you commute to work? And oh, do you like walking? Do you walk outside of just your commute? And do you like exercising? Like, oh, you do? Okay, like what exercise classes are you? Like, you can just dig so deep based off of these like answers that they're giving you. And I feel like if they continue to give you answers and engage back with you, they're probably interested in talking at a friend level, and that gives you a lot of clues. Or if someone's giving you like yes or no answers and not asking you things back, that's probably a good clue that maybe they're not interested in you right now, and you should, you know, maybe continue on your journey. Yeah,
and it's even better too when they could ask you questions as well. Like I feel like that's another big sign for me is like gauging if someone's interested is if they are like reciprocal with their conversations and asking questions based off that too, like where they live, or if they go to this workout class, like, oh my god, did you ever go to that coffee shop that's like on the corner? They have the best. Like all those little things are showing that you're an active listener and you want to hear what they have to say.
Exactly.
And you also want to engage with them, you know what I mean? So I feel like when you're being a conversationalist, that's like the most important thing is to like pick one thing off of their response and then incorporate it into the next response, you know what I mean? It's just like typical conversational styles, but I feel like some people struggle to figure out like how to navigate that part. But that's what I like to do, you know what I mean? And I consider myself like a pretty social person.
I do too, but still sometimes there's times where I don't know what to say next. So asking people questions is always a good way to like dig deeper and keep a conversation going. Also, especially things that aren't yes or no questions.
Yeah, you got to leave it open-ended.
Yeah. I agree with the compliment thing, and I feel like it's always good to give compliments in like a friendly way and even like a not super deep way. So I think like if there's things about someone's appearance, because obviously if it's a stranger, you can't be like, you have a great soul. Like, I love your kind personality. Like, you don't know them. You have to say something superficial. So I think that sometimes you can look at a person and just know that like something is important to them. Like maybe they have perfectly styled hair, or like if someone has a really cool like jacket on, like maybe you go and compliment their jacket or their shoes or their purse, like an accessory that they have, and not in like a weird way, in exactly what you said. You could ask them where they got it, or like, oh my God, I've been dying to find, like, I mean, I guess it's like if it's a guy talking to a girl, he's not gonna be like, I've been dying to find a purple purse. Like,
right.
But you could still connect on something. I definitely said to like guys before, like, wait, I love this jacket with this look. Like, tell me how you picked this, because I feel like I wouldn't go for this or something like this, but it looks so good on you. You're complimenting them, but it's not like a, you have beautiful eyes. Like, can I buy you a drink? And then it kind of sparks more conversation.
Yeah.
When you go about it that way.
Definitely. And a lot of times if someone has like a really niche jacket or something, it ends up being like thrifted. So then you learn about like a hobby that they might have, or different places that you could go. You know what I mean? Because I've been trying to like invest in different things like that myself. So it's I always do ask those questions.
Yeah.
Because I like want to know genuinely, you know what I mean? But then I think it shows a little bit about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they share that stuff.
Yeah. And I've also realized for myself, like a lot of times when I'm attracted to someone, they have a good sense of style and like they have like a put together outfit. So I love saying like, wait, so tell me about your outfit. I love it. Like, or you look so good. Like, tell me about it. How did you pick it? Where did you get your shirt? Like all that stuff. And I feel like it's a good way, to break the ice and like start talking about things you actually care about. Yeah. Which is weird to be like, yeah, I care about clothes, but like, it's okay if you care about clothing and fashion.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah. I wish I cared more. I'm trying to care more. Yeah. Because this is like everywhere. Just like a black shirt and jeans. That's
but
what
like
I wear.
A simple t-shirt if it's nice. Like that's all you need. That's a uniform right there, you know?
Love. Yeah. Love, yeah. And like the neutrals and, everything. Styling. Winter's hard and summer's hard. Really? I love
fall.
Spring and fall. Because you could like layer. Hard. Really? Yeah. Yeah, I guess it could be like a little bit, but I feel like spring and fall, at least you could like layer things. So like you could change your outfit a lot based off what you're going to like layer on. Whereas like winter, like even this weekend, like I was out and about and I didn't want to carry around like my huge North Face jacket. But then also it's like you don't want to be cold and get sick. Like, I don't know.
It is tough. Pinterest helps though.
I don't even have a Pinterest. Like I don't have Pinterest downloaded.
I feel like you would like it. It really helps with outfit styling and like what pieces to like put with what. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to start. You should check it out.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah. Okay, so after talking and clicking, what do you ask next? I feel like a way to test the waters would be like, not in a creepy way, which I can't put my finger on exactly what I mean, but asking, I feel like if they'd want to like check something out with you, so whether it's like the bar or the menu, like the drink menu, or if there's like a pool table, you could be like, oh, by the way, I've been wanting to check out the pool table. Like, would you be interested in playing a game? Or like, oh, there's like a little like pinball machine or like something. A lot of places have like something that you could be like, would you want to check it out? And then if I was into a guy, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, or ask about the menu or be like, I'm just going to walk over to the bar. Like, do you want anything? Do you want to go with me? And I feel like if they go with you, that's a great sign too that you're clicking.
I think that would be good too. And even just like asking like, oh, what's your go-to drink? Like, what do you typically go for that way? Oh, like, should we grab one? Like, oh, I've never tried that. Maybe I'll try that next. Like, that's a way to kind of pitch it around that way. Totally. Also, if it's like the conversation's going so well that you like feel confident enough, being like, oh, there's this other place like right around the corner. Do you want to go and grab like a drink there instead? Because then you could kind of like go to another like new area or new space together. Yeah. But that's obviously like a little more forward than like finding somewhere in the actual bar. Yeah. So totally. Or even the touch tunes. Oh, do you want to go put on a song? Like I love because I love like music. Like
that's perfect too. Because then you get another thing to talk about. Yeah. Yeah. And then if there was a guy who I wasn't interested in and he was like, oh, want to go over with me to the touch tunes? I'd be like, oh, no, thanks. I'm probably going to go like find my friends. But it was nice talking to you. Yeah. And then walk away. Right. It's almost like you're asking, are you interested in continuing spending time with me? Yeah. With this other activity? And it's really simple. It's not like a scary thing. It's not like do you want to go home with me after this? Like that's scary. You know, you like ease into these things, get comfortable on like multiple levels. The first level is talking. The second level is walking over there with you, you know? Then committing to like something else. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I also have had nights where I like meet someone out and we're like clicking and then they are more forward and they're like, I want to take you on a date. Like, what are you doing this week? And that's like great too. If you are really good at reading the room and being like, yeah, this person, like, we're clearly hitting it off, you know, like we're flirting, we're touching, like, I'm going to shoot my shot and be like, I want to take you on a date, you know, that's cool too. But you really got to read the room if you're going to be like direct like that. Yeah. Well, yeah, because that would be like the next step. Yes. Which is a lot bigger than just being like, oh, do you want to go to the touch tunes? You know what I mean? Totally. Because that's like showing like I'm definitely like all in interested. Yeah. And not like still getting to like feel things out. Yeah, totally. And I feel like if you're talking to someone who seems like a little more shy or reserved, maybe that's the time where you're not shooting your shot being like, I want to take you on a date. Like you really got to work up to that, you know? So I think the next thing, I love what you said about like, oh, there's another spot, like my friends are going to go around the corner. If you guys want to come, if you want to come, like tell your friends, or make it casual, make it feel safe for them, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the asking for the number thing can be tricky, like based on the situation. Like maybe you haven't spoken to them for like super long, but then your friends are like, we got to leave right now. Like the Uber's here or something. I think you could ask, like maybe that's another time where you give them like a little compliment, but maybe it's a little more personal this time. And it's like, oh, I really enjoyed talking with you. That's like all you have to say. Like you don't have to give them like this deep compliment, I guess.
Right.
Like you could also just be like, you seem so awesome. Like I'd love to hang out again. Would you want to exchange numbers or Instagrams even? It can be casual, you know? There are times to be direct, but I feel like in my experience, like people casually talking makes me feel the most safe because there's not like pressure on it.
Right.
To be like, oh, well, now I have to like talk to him romantically, you know?
Yeah, and I think that it kind of takes away from who you actually are. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, I really gotta like put on whatever, like you could just casually chat like you would to a friend and like see what happens that way. I also think another way around that makes it a little less scary is being like, oh, my friends are leaving. I have to go to like, could I give you my number? And like, if you want to text me sometime, like it'd be great to like get together again. Like I enjoyed talking to you for a little bit tonight. And then kind of like the ball's in their court and there's no pressure on them to give them your phone number. You're giving them your number. You know what I mean? That's like an easier way to do it.
I love the point of take my number and if you want to text me, text me.
Yeah, ball's in your court.
Yeah. I just love situations where there's no pressure put on it.
So if someone asked me for my Instagram, I think that I would get annoyed by that though.
Oh,
I
really?
will have to say I feel different than you with that.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's like equivalent to like the guys asking for your Snapchat.
Okay.
I'm like, do not. Like, don't. You could ask me for my number if you want my number.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just like hate the social media of everything. I just hate social media in general, I feel like lately for that.
Okay. That's a good point. I feel like I might feel differently if someone asked me, like, can I have your Instagram? I might be like, oh, why? But I use Instagram when, like, let's say I'm talking to someone at a bar, like, in the past, and I didn't want to give them, like, I hate giving out my number because I don't like texting people, and I don't like feeling, like, responsible to, like, answer a text message that I didn't consent to getting. Because you know how, like, when someone has your number, like, they can text you at any time. Like, I can't decide the timeline of the text I'm going to get from them. So I had been doing a thing for years where if people asked me for my number, I would be like, oh, let's just do Instagram because I can control when I open this app and I can control like when I am reminded of you, when I swipe over and open my DMs, like I can control when I want to think about this. Whereas if it's just popping up on my phone, I don't get control over how many times I'm reminded of you today. So that's what I feel like for myself. I also just think that Instagram is so not personal at all that when someone has your Instagram and they're able to DM you, like it's still not a thing. You know, I still have the choice if I want to be like, oh, text me, you know? So I do think it might come off weirder though. You're right. If someone just straight up asked you for your Instagram, but I think that using Instagram to your advantage as an offering could make you feel like more calm and just take away like some of the anxiety of like texting people and like sharing your personal cell phone number. That's at least how I feel. I'm sure a lot of people feel differently than that though. That works for me.
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know if it's just like a gay thing or like what it is, but some people just care about their Instagram so much. So when they ask that, it's like, do you want more followers? Like, you know what I mean? Like that, and that part of it is like such a turn off to me. I've told you this because like we've even talked about things for the pod where I'm like, I can't give any advice on that. Like I am as millennial as it comes when it comes to like social media and everything. I view my Instagram as like literally like a photo album. I don't go for like the aesthetic vibe, like whatever. I post photos as if it's like my personal photo album that I'm sharing with my friends. They're not the best pictures. They're not artsy. They're not this. They're not that. The captions aren't great. I'm posting emojis left and right.
I
like,
love it though.
I genuinely am like a millennial to death with that. So that's why I feel like when people ask that, I'm like, I don't know if I really want you to like have this glimpse into like my personal life that much. You know what I mean?
So you would rather them have your number then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it is just like personal preference about what you feel is personal to you. Because I think that my phone number is more personal and it seems like you think that your Instagram is more personal. I see what you mean though. If someone approached me and they only asked for my Instagram, I'd be like, why? But if they asked for my number and then just threw in the Instagram as like a consolation, I might not think it's
that's
weird.
Different. Yeah.
But if it was, only Instagram, weird. But I do also think if someone only asked for your number and you wanted to give them something less personal, you can then decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do see what you mean though. Yeah, if they were just like Instagram, I'd be like, why? I'm not like 6.
Right. I also...
6.
No,
I should say
yeah.
16.
And I also feel like, I think it's like fine to just be like, oh, like, sorry, like, I don't really like to like share my social media with people like that often. Like, I'd much rather give you my number.
Totally.
Or like opposite, you know what I mean? Where you could say like, oh, like, I don't really like to give out my number until I like really get to know someone. So like, maybe you could add me on here and like, we could talk that way and then see what
I don't
happens.
even like go into all like the explanation. Like, I literally just say, oh, let's do Instagram instead. And if they're like, oh, come on, that's not enough, just be like, okay, then it's not enough. Then you get nothing. Bye. I think that if someone actually has like intent to pursue you, they're going to take anything that they can get, you know?
No, that's true. And props to you for being confident in that. You know what I mean? Like, that's good.
I just like don't like the idea that like people can contact me at any time. I'm like, no. Only when I consent to it.
Yeah, I mean, I have my red receipts on and everything. So I'm like, I also like the texting for that because I could just make it clear that I'm not interested if I like open something and I don't respond. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
But I typically don't just do that. Like, I'll just say like, oh, I'm sorry, like I'm not. But if I were to say like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, and then they keep texting me, then I'm just going to open and not respond. And it's very clear. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I had like a short list of do's and don'ts, but I feel like we might have gone over some of them. But one of like the main do's that I just think that everyone who's interested in having a romantic relationship should just keep in mind is giving people a chance. I feel like it's so easy to just like shut someone down when they come up to you, but then like in the same breath be like, why can't I find a boyfriend? Like, you have to give people a chance and like be open to meeting with people and talking with people. And maybe in the first like 30 seconds, if they're awkward, like push another 30 seconds, you know? Like, it's not going to hurt you to be like open to a 1-minute conversation like at a bar about like the drink that you're drinking, I guess. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not going to. It's probably fine.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and just like being approachable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, allow yourself to be approachable. You're out, you're having a good time, whether or not you're even looking for something like that at the moment. Like, you could still just form genuine human connections with other people in a space that it's getting harder and harder to do that. Yeah. Especially as you get older, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like everyone loses their way after college because it's like, hard. What do you do now? Like, you meet people through work, but like, it is hard to meet people other ways. That's why we made this episode, to share our little tricks here, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I'm kidding. But just being approachable and like allowing people to have a conversation with you. Like, you're not sacrificing that much of your own personal time or like whatever to just have a simple conversation with someone.
Totally.
And let it go from there.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. I also just think read the room. Just keep that in mind in all situations, like ever. Like just try to pick up on social cues. If someone doesn't seem interested, then move on. Like, it's kind of a numbers game when it comes to like making friends and making connections. There's going to be way more people probably that you don't connect with or that are harder to connect with. And that's why when you actually connect with someone, it feels so special. So don't get down, you know, keep an open mind. If it doesn't work out, don't get mad at people. Just, you know, thank you, next.
Yeah, no, and you don't have to harbor any resentment or anything like that. Like, some people just aren't, you know what I mean? And that's why I've like dated people in the past where I'm like, wow, this is like an amazing guy. Like, this is a really great person. But like, I just maybe wasn't attracted to him, or like our interests were just like a little bit too different. And I'm like, I have no ill will toward this person. Like, I wish them the best. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that that's okay. It's just that sometimes it's just not for you. Yeah. But you'll never know if you don't try.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, this is a good app.
Yeah, I liked it. Wow, you guys, this was fun.
Yeah.
I'm talking to everyone when I say you guys. Yeah. Hopefully that made sense. I feel like I actually don't think we were all over the place.
No, everything was like very intertwined.
Yeah, okay.
So our discussion today was a great example of building off of other things within conversation. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like taking something that you said and be like, oh yeah, and that reminds me of this and everything like that. Like,
yes.
I feel like that was pretty good, you know, solid framework. Build the rapport. Rapport is huge.
Yeah.
The biggest part of my job for me to get any buy-in from teachers, students, anything is just building rapport and genuine relationships and connections. People begin to trust you. You get to really know them, and you could just keep going off that.
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yay. Okay, if you have any tips for meeting people in the wild, leave them in the comments. I also feel like we could do a part 2 of this because I feel like there's still more situations that we could like dig deep into and like read specific conversations where it's like, I'm in this situation a lot and like, how do I like talk to this exact person? And then we can brainstorm, because I think sometimes as an outsider, it's so much easier to be like, yeah, you should do this. But if it was me, I'd be like, how do I speak to someone, you know?
Yeah, because it is intimidating. Yeah. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. So let us be the ones that tell you how to interact with people and inspire you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.